A news alert. The investigation into alleged ties between the Trump campaign and Russia is taking a turn. The Department of Justice named a special counsel to take over the case, and it is a name we all know well. That person, former FBI Director Robert Mueller. He served as the director for 12 years. President Obama asked him to stay on. President George W. Bush and Barack Obama he served under. His appointment is already getting bipartisan praise.
It's the right decision, and I think the right candidate for that job.
He has a great reputation. I think it's a good move.
Meantime, you know what? Even President Trump is responding to this. He says any investigation will only prove that his campaign had no connections to Russia. Our political power panel, our analyst Carl Jackson, Earnest Deloach, in-house today talking about this. Ernest, let me ask you this, because this does seem to be getting bipartisan praise. Exactly what seemed to need to be happening to calm things down a bit. Even the president kind of welcoming this, even though, as you heard him say, they wouldn't find anything, correct?
I agree, and I don't know how much truth there is to the president being happy about this. Insider reports say that he was not at all briefed, which is great. It shows some independence on the part of Deputy Attorney General Rubenstein. But I think he's trying to put on a good face. I think, as you said, Bob, it's a good thing for everyone. The wolves have really been circling right now with regard to the White House. Not just Democrats in Congress, but Republicans are talking about impeachment. They're using the I word. There are some scholars who've even talked about in the New York Times the 25th Amendment, which would remove the president based on incompetence, not just for high crimes and misdemeanors. Robert Mueller is a calming effect. He's a guy that knows his way around the building, as they say. Former FBI director under 2 administrations, Republican and Democrat, 12 years on the job. And let's also remember that this guy is not afraid of controversy. He's not afraid of stress or anxiety. He took office 3 days before 9/11. Exactly. So this is something quite candidly that I think he's very capable of doing, that everyone is very happy that he's on the job.
Carl, let me bring in this, because also you can't say the guy's going to try and make any political hay out of this or make his bones, because his reputation is solidified. Whatever he finds, he's just going to follow the facts, don't you think?
Yeah, I think this was a great move by Rod Rosenstein, who's the Deputy Attorney General, because it gets rid of any speculation of impropriety or collusion with the Trump campaign. And honestly, it allows the Trump administration to move forward in policy. Listen, if the FBI want to investigate corruption when it comes to Russian collusion, they can go right to the Hillary Clinton campaign. It's astonishing to me. The Hillary Clinton posed the Russian reset that allowed American investors to invest in Skolkovo, the tech firm in Russia. Hillary Clinton benefited 28 investors, 17 of them were her donors and donated to her campaign, yet we hear nothing about that type of collusion from Russia. John Podesta, her co-chairman, sat on the board that benefited $35 million from Russia. He was compensated. We hear nothing. So perhaps Robert Mueller will also investigate Hillary Clinton's and the Democrat Party's ties to Russia.
All right, well, let's focus on what we're investigating right now. And will this expand beyond the election? Do they talk about what happened in the Oval Office, the possible leaking of classified information there to the Russians, Carl?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I hope they do. This needs to be cleared up. I think, you know, I heard Jason Chaffetz say that they were going to subpoena the memos of Comey's memos, and I think it needs to be done. This needs to be cleared up. It needs to be gone. There's been no evidence. This investigation has literally been going on for about 9 months. There's been no evidence whatsoever, and I think Trump, listen, I would say this to President Trump, let's put the Twitter finger in the holster. Just let them go ahead and deal with this and just be done with it and move forward on policy and stop letting the left distract you from getting your policy accomplishments done.
Ernest, I want to give you the last word on this. How much authority does Mueller have, and can Trump, in essence, fire him, and wouldn't that be a horrible thing if he actually did that?
Well, you're exactly right. Mueller, though he's been appointed as special counsel by the Deputy Attorney General, he still falls in the line of power straight from the White House. So technically he could be fired. It would be a catastrophe for Trump to do that. How far will it go? I think his authority is as deep and as broad and as wide as possible. Real quick to Carl's comments about collusion with Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party, I'm going to quote the Republican Party when I say this. Elections have consequences. Your guy won. We're investigating the presidency and whether or not the election was tipped in favor of Trump. That's why it's looking that way and nowhere else. And there's nowhere to look beyond Twitter than your own guy.
Okay. Gentlemen, always good to have you. I'm sorry, Carl, what did you say?
This collusion was going on with Russia while she was Secretary of State and implemented the Russian reset. And she benefited from it while she was Secretary of State.
Okay. That's a topic for another day, and we'll have you on for that as well. All right. Carl Jackson, Earnest, Deloach. Guys, great to have you here as always. I'm telling you, we need to get you guys your own show.
You haven't dressed alike today,
I know.
too.